Hello, everyone. My name is Primetime Moff, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Oddimus Prime. Thank you for joining us in this week's episode, or kind of part two of this week's episode, where we're asking the question, what's next for Transformers? After, in our opinion, a great year celebrating the 40th anniversary, we'll touch on what we know is coming the next 12 months, what's speculated. We'll also touch on a little bit on the recent challenges the franchise has faced. So grab yourself a brew, join us for this chat. Simon, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and I'm very excited. We went over a little bit on our kind of main episode where we were chatting about 2024, and we're like, yeah, we'll chat 2024, and then we'll definitely be able to chat 25. But I think we realised that we were going to chat along, but I think that just speaks volumes to what was a fantastic year for the 40th anniversary. And I know we're going to talk more about 40 years in the next 2 weeks, just as we kind of reflecting overall. But I think we both agree it was a really strong year for the 40th year.
Most definitely. I think there's still loads of stuff we missed off and didn't really
Yeah.
talk about, but we'll think of that as and when.
I think it'd be unrealistic to think we're going to cover everything. So I think the way I looked at it was, what's the things that have really impacted us? What's landed with us? What's made us kind of excited? And I think it's the same for this. Like, there's so many toys we already know are coming.
Mm.
Toys that are up for pre-order. There's then been rumored stuff come up. Even just in the last few days, there's been news of the video game cancellation. So there's loads news changes every single day. So
Mm.
it'd be unrealistic to think we're going to cover everything. So I think it's just two old decrepit geeks talking about what they're excited about in
Speak for
2025.
yourself. I'm young and
Can we make
sprightly.
it through 25? What are you, what, 62 now?
Near enough. Feels like it if we sat down all day. Um, yeah, it was funny about the computer game thing. I was just thinking earlier that is that the first Transformers uh, toys that have come out from something that was then subsequently cancelled because we had the four action figures for it like a
Yeah.
year or so ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then they re-released Bumblebee and his own in was it Studio Series recently?
Oh yeah,
I'm sure I've
yeah,
seen him and Smiths. They separated them out. It's a shame. Eh, there clearly was I think it was on the cards for a while. It's been rumored for a while. So
yeah.
it's kind of almost good just to kind of to finish it off. But uh, I do want to try and be as positive as I can in this episode, but I do think that there is an aspect that I read a thing and watched a wee bit of video as well, talking about the downturn of Transformers recently.
I was gonna
Um,
bring that up.
I
Yeah.
know that Earth Sparks maybe kind of fell away a wee bit towards the end. I think the controversy caused that to have a challenge. The kids' toys haven't sold quite as well as they maybe have in the pre-past. Transformers 1 we know wasn't the success it once was. The comic sales seem to be dipping a little bit as well. But I think that's a challenge because comic sales started off so strong. So that's unfair, realistically, to
Mm.
say it's dipping off when it started strong. It's always going to struggle to maintain that strength. And in this video game. So it was. Listen, I do think that the 40th anniversary was strong. I think the brand is still strong. The challenge it'll have is I think it's strong for people like us who already are entwined in the brand
Yeah.
and love the franchise. That's why your generations line uh, continues to be the focus. If you look at the streams, that's what they're focusing on. They're not bringing anything new on that. They're bringing all they're I don't want to say pandering because that sounds wrong, but they're targeting us rather than targeting how do we bring new people on. And I think that's an interesting challenge. And listen, other parts of the franchise have done the opposite and have done it really well. Like when we think of conventions and TF Nation, TF Nation, Minicon Manchester tickets went up for sale recently, and having spoke to Billy, they've went really well, like really, really well. And it just shows there's a real drive. You've
Mm.
got four conventions this year, three smaller ones, and one main convention this year, and they all do stellar ticket numbers. And the really interesting bit for both ourselves, and I've had the same conversation with Billy, is there's a huge number of newcomers come each time. That means obviously people drop off and don't come back, which
Mm.
is a part of course, life happens. But there's always new people coming on. So the conventions in the UK at least have certainly kind of found a way of bringing new people on. Are we losing that from the actual franchise itself? Are we losing that ability to kind of bring the people along? Don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe there's a certain amount of knock-on effect from the like superhero fatigue and Star Wars fatigue and all of this stuff in this
Franchise
old
fatigue.
yeah exactly it is
Might
franchise
well
yeah
be, yeah.
that there does seem to be that it isn't drawing in the kids in the way that it used to and the adults quite there's quite a lot of adults who love the franchise to moan about the franchise. Not as bad as Star Wars fans, but
No,
there's
not as bad as Star Wars fans, but yes, yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So anyway, let's stop focusing on the bad stuff and let's have a look at all the
Yeah, I
wonderful,
agree.
wonderful, lovely
I
stuff from
agree. I just
2025.
thought it was worth. We have to
Oh,
mention it because it would
100%.
be wrong of us not to.
Yeah.
I do hope that the Transformers One side of it. I hope that it finds its own different alternative. It doesn't. My headspace is a big part of that cost will have been on developing new character models. Another
Yeah.
big part will be on big name actors. Make it not as a big name. Don't worry about designing new character models. Just keep with the same characters because you don't need to do
Yeah.
like what the original Transformers did. Is let's reinvent them every time. Just keep the same ones and just keep going. You've got the character models done now. Develop that story out. So it may be a much cheaper sequel to do and
Yeah.
may still get something. But I think there will be a lull before we see the proper next. But we've got to remember that kind of did happen as well, but just before just after Bumblebee, we kind
Mm.
of went through that little, yeah, okay, pandemic stuff like that. But I think that's natural to have a little bit of a breather, and it's never a bad thing.
No.
But let's go positive. Let's go on the stuff that we knows, we know that we're excited about for this year. So, do we kick off with some rumored stuff first, or do you want to go into the what we know is coming?
We should do not what we know is coming, and then yeah, let's go to the rumors after that. So
Okay.
yeah, because
Do what we know is coming, right? Okay. So you're the tech man. You have
always,
graciously made
always,
some beautiful slides to showcase some of the amazing stuff we know. And again, we've picked our kind of favourite bits. We're not going through every single figure that's coming. It'd be crazy to do that. And we're going to just kind of pick on our favourites. So, can I ask a quick question on this first, right?
of course, yes.
Let's go kicking out some controversial opinions.
Mm,
Would you, so it's obviously called Star Optimus. How
yeah.
do you feel about that?
What do you mean?
So, in Japanese continuity,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
obviously called Star Convoy. My, I'll give you my opinion. Well, in the Japanese continuity, Optimus is called Convoy. So in Western releases, Optimus. So I wasn't surprised in the slightest they called him Star Optimus. And there's no part that bothers me. If we had had the original Star Convoy released in the Western, it'd have been called Star Optimus, or it'd have been called. It might not have been called Star Optimus. It might be called Bob Optimus. They may have just changed it entirely, but it wouldn't have been Star Convoy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I don't think. Yeah, purists will say, "Oh, it's been named wrong." Blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. It was never going to be called Convoy over here. We don't call things Convoy. Sorry,
yeah,
over here in the West.
yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you, if you released that figure and called it Star Convoy, apart from the hardcore Transformers fans, and
yep,
even some more of the casual Transformers fans, nobody's going to know what they mean. They'll be like, "Oh, why is this
no,
Optimus Prime figure who's blatantly Optimus Prime called
yeah,
Convoy? That makes no sense."
no,
Um,
exactly. And I
was
think there's a lot of fans didn't even know who Star Convoy was. So actually, there's people who I've seen who within the last year didn't know who Star Convoy
yeah,
was, and then are complaining that this is getting called Star Optimus. And I'm thinking, going, if this had been released a year ago, you would have known any different, and you'd have been like, "That's okay."
exactly.
Um, so I think there is that there is. I get it. I do get it where it's like, oh, but that's not the original toy, but it's never is anyway, and it would never have been Star Convoy had it been the year
Yeah,
it released.
I
But
think that there has to be a sort of level of brand recognition and realism
yeah,
with us fans in terms of what can be done. It's like Megatron being a gun. He's never going to be a gun again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, same as. if they release a certain beautiful toy that I'm looking at right now, and the Western Masterpiece line, it's going to be called Power Master Prime. It's, it's not going to be called the same name it's called in Japan. It's just going to get changed because that's what we do. We release it under the Western release name then rather than the bit. I'm not talking
Exactly.
about. We're not to talk about that toy, but so I'll try not to talk about the wonderful toy that's sitting in front of me. But Star Optimus. I am buzzing. This is the first time I have been genuinely looking forward to a Titan since Scorponok. All the rest I've been like, I've picked them all up. Any of the ones I've picked up after seeing this. I was like straight away, I want this. This looks really nice. I was very close to picking up the original toy at TFN.
Mm.
Very close to picking up the Gen Selects previous one at TFN. I'm really glad I didn't buy that now. But this looks really nice. Big, chunky, fun looking. It looks like a toy, and I know that
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
silly, but it looks like an actual toy that I'm going to be able to kind of bring home, get shown, and kind of open and play with. Some of the Titans have been a bit too big to really have that kind of level of fun with. So this looks a smaller. This is going to be the smallest one, I believe, they've released. So it looks really nice, and I am very excited.
Yeah, I was just thinking I've got three Star Convoys already.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got the
Maybe
G
three.
I've got Wiley 3.
You know, what have you got? Sorry, why have you
So
got
this,
three? I was going to say, you mean three
I was
different
gonna say-
versions? I
yeah,
thought you
three
meant
different
three
versions. Sorry, no,
originals.
there's the reissue of the Encore reissue of Star Convoy. So I've
Yep,
got that. I've got the MMC one they did a year or two ago.
I look
Uh,
nice.
yeah, it's a good one, and the Gen Selects one. So add that one to the mix, and that'll be four. And
Yeah,
hopefully he'll fit on
nice.
that shelf. Otherwise, I'll have to find somewhere else to put it. But yeah, he looks gorgeous. He looks very G1. It's that wonderful thing that we get with Generations and Chug, the nice update version of
Yeah,
the original toy, and yeah, I love it. Obviously, but yeah, what we haven't mentioned is that he's part of Age of the Primes, which is the
mm,
the the thing for
the
this
line,
year.
the theme,
The
the whatever you
line,
call.
yes. I have no idea if this is going to be part of a trilogy yet. I assume so, as it seems to be the pattern.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine they're not going to get all 13 primes out in the first
No,
year.
that
So,
was my gut was there's 13 primes coming. We know wave one, and I'm right, they're going to three waves for the year, so actually they would surely be we'd know more if they were going to go 13. But yeah, I think but it could be then, I don't know. It doesn't feel that there's enough for it to go over 3 years, but who
yeah,
knows?
but there's
I'd
lots of
love
things
to
to
know
do.
what's, you're the same. You'd love to kind of know into their minds the planning. I'd love to be in that kind of fly in the wall as they're planning it. What's the next couple of years of Transformers look like? What we're doing, but just cool as anything to be involved in. But
I mean,
don't know if we'll do it.
if I was to make a random prediction, if they're doing a series of primes, then it might make sense to do a Unicron or maybe
Yeah,
a Primus as a Titan.
that's yeah. I agree. That's one that I wouldn't be surprised with.
No, no.
I don't think they'll do it. I know there was talks last year when it was the Omega Prime coming. It's like, oh, they'll do a Primus for for HasLab. I don't think they will. I think it's
No.
too much for a HasLab. I think a Titan's the best you'll get for a Primus.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Right, move on to the next toy.
Boop.
Let's talk about the next one. And I am really excited by G2 Wheelie. I'm not really excited by G2 Wheelie. I am excited by G2 Grimlock. I love a bit of G2. I've got the blue New Age one and it's awesome. I have the Tiger version of this. I will be picking this up because it's Grimlock, it's G2. I want my G2 Dinobots. It actually almost annoying that they've done a second G2 Grimlock and not done the others. Like, come on, come on. Because this is
Uh,
how many paints have they done of this? What have we done? Original, Shattered Glass, two G2s, and the comic one. Five repaints of, and there's a reissue of it coming out as well.
yeah,
Oof.
I was going to say it's weird that there's been that many repaints, and the original was going for so much money for a while. Um, And I didn't feel it was like that scarce to start off with. I got hold of it
No,
really easily,
yeah,
and
I
then it
agree.
became like gold dust. Although I will point out that I do actually really like that wheelie.
I know.
Those
There's just
colours
something
are
silly about it.
bonkers.
It's a shame because actually in those colours it'd be a good fun wee toy just for silliness, but
Mm.
it's rotten. It's a little rotten, horrible thing.
Yeah,
Um,
true,
but
true.
anyway.
But yes, it's nice to yeah, it does look very blue.
And then we
Nice.
have the next one of the next themes of this year is going to be collecting, and I know that's a big part of Transformer anyway, but collecting specific teams because we
Mm.
have got two absolutely cracking combiners coming. One under the Primes line and one under the Studio Series line, and we are focusing first on Superion, and ignoring the big kibble in the back there. That's horrific. Like I don't. It, it makes it better than it just being a standalone thing. That what you do with this,
Yeah.
but firstly, nobody's going to put it like that. You're going to have it as a Concorde, and that's it. Silverbolt was never going to. Nobody's going to display it with that. Nobody, and likely, probably most people are going to either display them as Superior or Silverbolt. I do think it suffers from the same problem as Venusaur. There's a little bits of it's just a little bit smaller than it should be. Like, I just think
Yeah.
his gun's a little bit smaller. I think his head could be doing a wee bit bigger, but I mean, it's Hasbro, so you're never going to get perfect. But you, it's a good, solid, fun toy, and I was very impressed with Venusaur. I thought Venusaur did really well. And don't be wrong, I put the upgrade kit on it, and it made it even better. But the
Mm.
original bot itself was so much better. And if you look at talk back to when we did Combiner Wars, and one of our big challenges on it was the hands and the feet were god awful.
Yeah.
The hands and the feet in these are decent. Like it's got a proper decent bit. It's got ankle tilts. It's got all the bits. When that's all combined with all the limbs on, that's going to look lovely. And I think Superior one of their better ones from Combiner Wars, but this is definitely an
Yeah.
upgrade.
I think one of the big problems with Combiner Wars is that the figures they were so not posable. You couldn't
Yeah,
really do anything with them. Yeah, you could bend the arms a little bit and you could
yeah.
do the shoulders and the well, the knees, I suppose, but you couldn't pose it. And they
No.
fell over a lot with those tiny, tiny feet and
And
little
I think
teeny
the other
tiny
interesting bit
hands.
is Hasbro talked about the fact they're not going to be doing like package refreshes through the year. So it is a very much if you want Superior, and you need to make sure when that wave comes out you get it. So it's less waves, whereas before they maybe do 4 waves and they would package refreshes throughout those 4 waves. This won't have that. So it's a if you want this end product, you kind of need to be on for the beginning, which is an interesting challenge for some. And I think it'll be interesting to see how that change in dynamic goes. Do we expect that they'll eventually do a box set? They said they weren't going to do it immediately, but I think you'll get box sets, and I think the having seen the Venusaur box set in hand, I thought it was
Mm.
really nice. And actually, there was a bit of me thinking that it might have done a what a combiner as a Titan. Um, and just do it as a box set, but they've not. So,
No,
no,
doesn't mean they won't.
no, exactly. I do. I actually think I would. I'm okay with them doing it this way. By the way, I'm okay with them doing it single releases. I think it would a cooler way to have done would have been to do G2 box sets, like
Yeah,
they did with the Combiner Wars.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think they'd be good to pick up. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Wait and see. Right, what's next? It's ooh, another Prime.
That is stunning. Like
Megatronus.
colors on him just are lovely. The flame effects on him, the yellow on his face, on his oh, I this was a great first one when they teased. Obviously, this is the first one they actually showed off
Yeah,
months ago now, and it was like, oh, that's really nice, and it is super badass looking,
yeah.
posable. Mark Clonis always puts up amazing pictures to make you really, really excited to these things, and this is it's one of those ones that as soon as this went up, I was like, yeah, I need all the primes now. Like, if they're going to do this, I need all the primes.
Yeah,
And
I think
what
I'm
the
gonna
hell can I
find
do
it
with them?
difficult
But
not to.
they're
But
primes, does that not count for you?
um,
I know, I know.
But yeah, no, it's a stonking figure. I love the fallen Dreamwave style of it.
Yeah.
It's got Megatron aspects to it. Um, yeah, I don't know whether I would have preferred it to have maybe the Tarn kind of mask. Not because that's much of a Megatronus thing, but it was what Megatronus was like in Transformers 1, so
Mhm.
maybe a bit of a tie in there, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose not.
No,
Doesn't
I
really
agree.
matter. But anyway,
Listen,
yeah.
they might do a slight remold and do that. If you know what they're like for some exclusive. I think it was a very good choice to kind of be bold out the front with what we're going to show off
Mm,
first. I think the first wave, what they've shown is very good, very strong
yeah.
for what they're producing. I My big hope is I want some form of tie-in, whether it be I'd love them to announce another Netflix show or them to announce some other place doing a cartoon or a comic book to tie in
Mm.
because now you're going to go through, they're going to show us all the primes, talk to us about them, tell us a bit more. It felt like that was it was funny because remember there's a line in Transformers 1, I've seen this meme, it's like the age of primes is over. Now it's the age of primes. There's a kind of bit like the movie says something that the toy line doesn't follow, the irony. But I think it'd be good just to kind of see what's going to come from that. I don't
Maybe
know if
that
we will get anything, but it'd be nice to have something.
maybe that's why Hasbro didn't promote the film at all. And anyway, enough of that. Let's go
So
on to
let's
the
see
next one.
the actual primes
Yeah,
across the
so
piece.
there's all 13 of them there. Do you remember what they're all called? Because I can never remember
Bob,
all of them.
Bob 2, Bob
No,
3. Oh,
there's
that one's John. That one, yeah,
yeah,
that one. No, I'm terrible. I don't
yeah,
remember.
no. I
Star Optimus, Megatronus. No, I never. We should have probably had a list of them out
That would have
behind.
been really sensible. There's Prima, there's Alpha Trion, there's what's the type? Vector Prime, Solus Prime, Micronus Prime, that dude, that dude, that dude, that one. Amalgus, that's one. Um, Megatronus, and the 13th is Star Convoy for some reason. I'm sure that's a reason. Although, interestingly, the Star Convoy in that picture has a Powermaster
Power
Prime
Master.
body.
I know that really threw me at first. I was like, oh, oh.
Yeah.
But and again, so it's not as if they wouldn't have known the toy was coming the way the toy was coming because it's we know from hearing from them they're at least a year out of
Mm.
full prep. They're into what's happening 18 months in the future. So this artwork surely must have been done. So that really has confused me.
Mm.
It did make me excited. Are they going to do something and give us a Power Master Prime in the future? Oh, I don't know. But it's
I'm
definitely is weird.
very hoping for a Powermaster Prime. The
Yeah.
only thing I can, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe like Star Convoy merges with Optimus or something in the story, if that is anything other than an art error. But
It's a huge art error, like a huge art error, and it's
yeah,
only really the chest. When you look at the Star
yeah,
Convoy, the legs are pretty much on point. His arms are pretty on point.
yeah.
It's just the chest, and it's
It's a
just weird.
it's an
So
odd thing to do. Anyway,
they'll literally just never mention it, and it'll just be
yeah.
oh well.
Yeah. Not only did the artist mess up, but then everybody who approved the art and print the art and everything else didn't notice. Or it's gonna be something, which is not. Anyway,
Right,
let's move
moving on
on.
to Studio Series. Studio Series Devastator. Oh, oh. Now the combiners always have the same problem.
Yeah.
Well, any transformer has a problem in terms of you have generally two modes. One mode is always the mode they focus on. when they're
Yeah.
designing. So one mode then loses out. It was a big problem when it came to triple changers. It's a big problem when it comes to combiners. And I don't think there's ever really been a set of combiners that haven't had that feel. And even like the Fans Toys Gary.
Mm.
I'm in Fans Toys Devastator because Devastators. I'm a sucker for Devastator and I'm a sucker for Predaking. So I'm going for both of these. But the Fans Toys, you can tell it's it's going for combiner. Like your but that's clearly what their main focus is. Not that they're all robot mode or alt mode's bad, but that's what we're going for. And this is the exact same. There's compromises to the individual bots to make that as a cracking looking Devastator.
Mm.
Now, Combiner Wars Devastator was the exact same in terms of its focus was clearly on the combine mode. Some of the robot modes were awful because of that.
Yeah.
But other than pretty much when I got it, it's never not been in Devastator. And I bet you most people's are like that. And I bet you this, most people's will be like that. Now, people will take them out and transform and play or can I just do a transformation? But I put money on they'll transform out and then transform it back in and put it back up
Oh,
as
for
Devastator.
sure, for sure.
And for that purpose, the Devastator looks decent. I think the I always hate when you get these pictures and you're like, is that mistransformed? Is that misaligned? Because that chest piece looks a bit too low down.
Yeah, one of the legs is at a funny angle.
Yeah,
He looks a little bit dumpy in the legs.
yeah.
Um, I
But
don't know,
I am
but yeah.
excited.
Oh God, yeah,
I'm again all in, all in, and I like the way that they're kind of doing this across different classes of figures as well. Kind of to try and appease the how do they put bits? How do they split the cost of a combiner across
mm,
six figures, or it's actually five releases for six figures. So no, and again, similar to Silverbolt, sorry, Superior. If you know you want this end game, you know you need to be in. And the good thing is, it does look as if it's split across the three waves, so it's not as if you're having to buy six figures at once.
yeah.
If all you were buying this year is Devastator, you can split that, over a paying three, Devastator paying three.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Receiving three, but paying three too.
Yeah, yeah. No, we were speaking about it in a video before, and I'm really impressed. I really, really like how it's shaping up, and I'm hoping that I managed to get hold of it. But well, I say that I'm of two minds. But I am collecting Studio Series, but also I don't have anywhere to put a Devastator. Hmm. Anyway, we'll decide
Sounds like
upon
a
that
future
later.
you problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I,
very
th
much so.
I think this is one of the ones, I'll be honest. I think you're better to buy it, and worst case scenario, better flip it. Like,
Yeah,
on the opposite end, I would not want to be. It gets to the final two bots, you're then seeing full colored images, you're then seeing how good it looks, and you're like, crap, I need to go try and get the first two. I think those first two will become like gold dust, or the first, is it one and three? I can't remember, however, remember how they're releasing it, but I think the first release spots are going to become like gold dust because people will sleep on this.
yeah,
Or not on purpose sometimes, but they'll go. "Pff." I know, but there'll be other fans who'll come into the fandom and go, "I now need a Devastator when they're on the last two bots, and how did I get the previous one?" So, if you are tempted by it, I would have to say, I think if you can afford it and find a way to afford it, buy them, put them aside. The worst thing you're going to do is be able to sell them, get your money back,
yeah.
and I would put money on it's going to be more than that.
Definitely would have been a good idea to have pre-ordered those before they sold out everywhere, wouldn't it?
I believe you've got a friend that owns a toy business.
Ah, so helpful. Right,
Don't
next.
know who that is.
Last on this. Oh, yeah.
The recolor I did not expect to see, and I'm a bit like, oh shit, I want this, and I don't know why I want it. Do I need it?
I,
No,
I know
I
why
kind
you
of
want
want
it. It's because of
it.
the vibrant kind of pinky and
It is.
the
Yeah.
the teal. It's nice. It's nice.
I
And
think, but the problem is it's not as if it's a different Tripticon. It's still Tripticon. I think if they did Gigastorm, I'd have been. I think I'd have bought it just to
yeah,
go. Because it was so different. I could have went, I'll have two. I love this mold. Genuinely love this mold. The out of the Titans we've had so far, the Tripticon and Scorponok have been standout bests.
yeah. I completely
And
agree.
and for somebody who loves Fort Max, and I loved, it was so happy at Grand Max. that doesn't change. These two are just brilliant. The both of them are really cool. So I am going to get this. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, or more importantly, what I'm going to do with the other one. Um, I've not told the wife.
My biggest
I
problem
don't
with
know.
Triptychon is the fact that on most people's shelves, you can't display him like that because his tail takes up so much space at the back that he doesn't fit on a shelf. You have to have him sideways, or at least I do.
I put him in on a corner so that I
Ah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
maximise
yeah,
the space out.
yeah.
So he kind of sits one corner, Scorponok's in the other, we're facing in. So, and I mean, I love this mold so much. I bought the undersized one just because I thought I can put it on my wee Legends display. So not really. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I am going to get it.
I,
Like,
I am.
I would love to say that I'm on the fence, but I'm not because it's just awesome.
I'm almost certain that if this sells out or sells well and doesn't go on to clearance immediately, like Zarek did for some obscure reason, then they'll do a Gigastorm.
Yeah, I know.
As much as they can get out of the mold, the
I
better.
think so. I think so. It'll just be interesting to see if it's the Takara mold or if it's a Hasbro mold because we know there was issues with the hips. Although mine's never had touch wood, mine's never had problems.
Uh,
So we'll wait and see. Wait and see. Okay, like moving on then. Let's talk about an Optimus
Ooh,
Prime. It's been a while
yay!
since we've talked about an Optimus
At
Prime.
least four
Um,
slides.
exactly. And we're into the crossovers. So this is a bit that I found funny, and I commented this in the kind of main episode that for weeks we were like, oh, and more crossovers, oh, and more crossovers. Now it's like, yes, crossovers, let's go. Because they're doing crossovers that are just a bit, where did that come from? How are we getting that? Why are we getting that? We've had our 80s crossovers with your Gigawatt, Ectotron, your
Agent Knight,
Agent Knight last year. I know that I didn't do the Top Gun one.
because it was
I,
turd.
well, because it was too plain. It wasn't really
Yeah,
exciting. Too
it
plain.
was. Oh God.
It wasn't really exciting enough for me. And
Yeah.
the big thing I love about the other three I just mentioned was that the are an 80s box art. They feel
Mm.
like they're G1 inspired toys rather than modern inspired toys. Whereas the Top Gun didn't have that feel, so it just didn't appeal to me. I did buy the X-Jet on mega clearance, and that was probably about what it was worth 'cause it was awful. And then
So
obviously
bad.
bought the Turtles. But I have bought all of the G.I. Joe. Oh no, I haven't because I've not bought Cup yet, but I am going to buy Cup. I am definitely going to buy Cup. I love the G.I. Joe stuff.
Yeah.
It just clicks for me. And it's funny, I've got Bumblebee in alt mode because that's a cool ass Jeep. Like I always wanted that Jeep as a kid. Like, and I was like, this is beautiful. And then I've got the other two in robot mode because Soundwave's gorgeous. Like that's a great thing. Like so, these are very G1S toys.
Mm.
Again, like they feel like this is what you'd have got 40 years ago. Like it's
Yeah.
just mad.
Yeah.
So I am really, really excited to see both of these
Yeah.
and see what they actually come out at. And I know you'll get the Optimus Prime. Have you? Because you're a G.I. Joe fan as well. Have
Yeah.
you bought
Yeah.
much of
Yeah.
the crossovers?
I've got B and Megs. I haven't got Cup yet, and I held off on getting Soundwave because he was really expensive. So I still need to pick one up. I think it's on sale in Sports
It's
Direct
on.
at the game at the
Yeah,
moment. So
I recommend him. I think he's the
oh,
best of the
I
three.
definitely want him. And also, I love Dreadnoks. So
Yeah,
and that vehicle I had as a kid, and it was one I
yeah.
really liked. So yeah, definitely looking forward to these. And weirdly though, it's very strange. But I keep these in alt mode with my last load of GI Joe reissue vehicles. So I've basically got two of the three his tanks
Oh,
sat there,
that's
one
funny.
of which turns into Megatron, but never does. Um, maybe I'll transform them. Who knows?
Right, let's
Anyway,
kick in because
yeah, go, 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 go,
there's
go.
other collabs coming. There's ones we know of like Monster Hunter and stuff, but the one that was dead interesting, it's only just had an image release, so we've kind of got this. I mean, knew it wasn't going to be Jetfire,
No,
but the
no.
fact that there's a collaboration between Macross and Hasbro does make you think there is a potential. At some point, they can do something and do. a
Yeah.
Jetfire. And again, I've talked in length before, but my separation, because that to me is Jetfire, whereas the one that's got thing with Skyfire. I
Yeah.
would love to see a proper new Jetfire
Yeah. Yeah.
official. It would be fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
And I think it's a positive step forward. We think about when Porsche gave authorization for Rise of the Beast to have a Porsche. The first thing everybody oh, does this mean that the relationship will be good and we'll get a jazz masterpiece? I still hold out hope for that. I think that would be really nice to see, and I think that's the bit. Is you have to start building bridges between companies. So hopefully
Mm.
this does well. Hopefully it's a positive experience for both companies and it leads to it. But you have the shared image. Um,
Yes, yes. So the teaser image that was released actually this afternoon was of this dude who, oh, I forget his name. It begins with a B and it's B something Prime or Convoy. And it's the character from right now. I like Macross. I've watched a few of the series, but this is from Macross 7, which is a series I have not watched. So I am by no means an expert on it, but apparently the mecha design is based on a character's Valkyrie. So it appears to be a Valkyrie that turns into Optimus Prime inexplicably. So that's good, maybe. Um, we'll see. We'll see. From that picture, it doesn't look an awful lot like a Valkyrie. It looks more like an Optimus Prime with some
yeah.
stuff stuck on him. But we'll see. We'll see what it turns out like. It is a obviously. I would love to see like an original style Macross Valkyrie redone new for Jetfire, but at the same time, we have had that, but just not officially.
No,
Um,
well, they did. Macross did their own. They did.
they did, they
It's
did, they
also
did.
remember the Fire of the God special. They did that tail end of 23, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
That came out. But again, it was very small. The problem was it was same as that kind of newer kind of KO one. It's a Macross rather than a Transformer, so it
yeah,
feels different. And I think if you've not experienced that, it kind of shocks you, going, "Oh, this is not like what we expect for Transformers." It's not
yeah,
a Transformer. That's the challenge. I think people want a Transformer that feels like a Transformer.
yeah.
I'd love a kind of proper masterpiece one with some die casts and stuff, and I think that'd be
Oh, for
amazing to
sure.
see.
I,
But
I,
we'll see.
I think that it might also still have something to do with the rights issue with Harmony Gold over
Oh
Robotech.
yeah, yeah,
So that might be why they've gone for Macross 7 as opposed to
yeah.
the
Well,
logical choice. But
we'll
anyway,
see.
yeah,
So
it
we've
looks
got two
interesting.
more. We've got two more teaser slides to chat about, and then we'll kind of back in just a normal chat. So we've got two more crossovers that just are nothing other than rumors. So the rest of the stuff we've kind of known is coming. Kind of feel confident. This one is just there's a Batman crossover coming. What
Yep.
could that be? That is a what is that? Is that Energon? No, Cybertron?
Cybertron,
Cybertron.
Megatron, which I always think looks like the Batman Forever Batmobile.
Yeah,
Um,
it certainly has that feel.
so that's
Um,
why I put that there. The question marks
no,
are to show we have no idea, and also the Riddler. Um,
hey, you could find those trophies.
yes,
I think that's why was that not why the Robert Pattinson movie was so long? He was trying to find all the Riddler trophies.
exactly. Yeah.
Uh, and then the other crossover that I know both of us are very excited by, because we're both fans of this franchise, and it is Masters of the Universe. And that just logo, I freaking love that logo. Honestly,
It
just
is just
it makes me smile, makes me happy. I mean, I've got up the side, I've got my kind of He-Man kind of carded figures, and I'm like, oh, what is this going to be? And this is where I'm really torn. I really hope they don't shaft us like the Turtles one. I want what I really want is a bit of both. I want a Masters Universe carded crossover, but also a Transformers boxed crossover, because I think both would be absolutely epic. Like, I've just a proper G1 box with a Masters Universe logo would be amazing to see. But
I
equally,
mean,
a Master Universe carded style with a I don't know. I cannot wait. I am so excited. Please do not let me down, Hasbro. Please do not
I
let me down.
yeah, I mean we had the Turtles Masters of the Universe crossover and they're interesting. I haven't got any of them. They're
I've
they're
got I've got Donatello and I've
oh,
got
surprise.
I've Donatello and I've got Shredder as Skeletor because it's
Yeah.
hold on, I'm going to bring it down to the show because it is actually genuinely really nice and really really funky. I mean, like I
Yeah,
love
that
it.
is that is that is
It
cool.
just so there is an aspect that like that kind of carded figure would be
Yeah.
really cool. Like don't know, but
I'm kind of
equally.
hoping for Master of the Universe vehicles in scale with Origins figures. So maybe get a battle ram that turns into Optimus Prime, or an attack track that turns into Optimus Prime, or a land shark that
Something else
turns
that turns
into
into an Optimus Prime.
no, land shark that turns into Skeletor or
Up-
Trapjaw or something. You know that sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Oh
no,
man,
doesn't turn into Megatron rather, not Skeletor. Getting my franchises
yeah,
confused.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
Um,
that's what I would like to see. Whether or
yeah,
not it's what we'll get, we'll
yeah.
probably get some random looking vehicle that doesn't really look like anything that turns into a
The,
weird version of He-Man. But
the cool thing with the Turtles crossover was that they did like Turtles characters as He-Man characters, but then they did He-Man as Turtles.
yeah,
I'd love for that to happen in this, and I don't know if we'll get that, but that would
a
be really cool
red
because I
truck
think,
that turns into He-Man.
yeah, because I think you'll get. I do think if they're going to, if this is a Hasbro, because that's where we're getting the leak from Hasbro, it will more likely be if they were doing a box, it would be the G1S box with it being a Transformer
Hmm.
version. But I'd love to see them do that. I'd love to see it go both ways. And listen, you know, this last year saw Mattel do Transformers Hot Wheels, so
Yep,
there's every chance that and one of those is transforming Optimus Prime. So they have done
need that.
Mattel have done a Transformer. Like
Hmm.
so, it's a bizarre world that nothing is really off the table. They have made collaborations with companies that you never thought was going to happen. So that's us got our last kind of slide. So let's just bring the slides down and let's chat through some of the other aspects that where we were at. So let's go back to the kind of what we know is coming. So we've covered off the toys that we wanted to talk about,
Hmm.
but two bit well, a bar one because I just need to do it now that you're not you can't miss the look.
Yeah, it's
I
okay.
had genuinely like on our show notes, I was like power, super Genrai, and just. Oh, I'm so excited. This has been a toy that I have wanted for a while. So have you, obviously. We both have such a love for this toy. Um, this is only version one. Like I've got so this one is MPG 09.
Yeah,
The box off like so MPG 09. This is obviously the new line MPG. Um, the frustration is still hearing people say it's a smaller scale. Well, it's not because the cab. This fella is coming out as MP60. So
yeah.
if this is MP60 and MPG, guess what? That's the same scale. It's nothing to do with scale. Yes, okay, the trains were the same scale, but if you go and look at the other MPGs, you've also got Jetfire, Skyfire, an Optimus Prime repaint, a Trailbreaker repaint, or something else. So they're all
Rat trap.
in those. Well, the Rat Trap's different because it's just a new mold. But
Yeah,
he's going to scale with Rhinox and Cheetor, and so
yeah.
it's the same scale. It's just a new name for it, and it's to do with, from what I understand, that Masterpiece kind of changed to be kind of anime focused on its design and its style. This is more being a hybrid, so it's not going to be lavishly to cartoon anymore. It's going to be a bit of hybrid of both. So that's why there's a kind of change in name. I am very excited because we're going to have. So we've got Genrai, Super Genrai, we've got God Bomber, then we've got the God Bomber S, which comes with alternative parts to do an unreleased version of him,
Yeah.
and comes with a big box that you can then put your other ones in. It's going to be expensive, and I can't.
Yeah.
I've got this one. I knew this one I was going to definitely take, and I think I'll go with the God Bomber that comes with the extra parts, just because I can then go. I've got everything. But do I need a Genrai just to have his Genrai? Oh, Jesus. I mean, I've got a couple of Power Masters just to be able to do that. Do I really need to do that with this? I don't know. Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes, it is definitely yes. It's always yes. I don't think I need all four, but I'm definitely going to get three of them, I think.
I think your easy one to skip is the God Bomber on his own, if I'm honest, because of the fact you can. If you're going to get a God Bomber, why do you not get a God Bomber with extra parts? And that's the
It
challenge.
really depends on how it
I know.
looks, I think. Yeah,
I
we'll
know.
see. We'll see. I'll just end up with all four anyway, let's face it.
And then the only other kind of bit we wanted to talk about the new bit was the new show. Just basically in the we know so little of it, other than the name and the potential first league figure. So the new name is Cyber World, which we
Cyborg,
couldn't
yep.
remember, so we need to get that tattooed on to remember. It's a replacement for Airspark. Will it be a follow-on? I don't know. There's been loose follow-ons in the past. It could be an entire new universe. We have no real no, well, I don't have any knowledge unless you have.
I think there's some rumor that it is a reimagining of Beast Wars to some extent. And the figure that's been leaked is so it was rumored as Meg Bull, but has now been more confirmed as Mega Bull. Um, and the figure looks like a robotic kind of bull, a little bit like Horrible, but his alt mode's head has some decidedly Megatron aspects to it, and also horns that look very Unicron. So it's a really interesting looking figure. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that, and if it is some form of Beast Wars esque kind of thing. But then again, it could be like RAD that had Beast Mode Decepticons and weird crab things.
Okay, so that's us covered all the kind of known things we know are coming. Let's just finish off some of the rumored releases and then let's chat about the possibilities and what
Hmm.
the doors that have been opened to us from last year. So the other rumored kind of releases, and I think this was rumored before we saw the Gears and Bumblebee, but it is the retro-inspired sea spray,
Hmm.
which we believe will be on the carded. There is another. There is another mini pop. I can't remember what it was. I was more excited by sea spray. So there will be four in total. Retro inspired. So you'll have your Gears, Bumblebee, the other one I can't remember, and Sea Spray. I
Brawn,
look
it'll be
forward to that.
Brawn.
Was it Braun? Was it Braun?
I mean, it will be if it's not.
So that's nice. I really like the retro inspired ones. I think they're really nice. I'm looking forward to getting them. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing because Sea Spray will be a new mold, which will be really interesting to see what they do. And does it then get a normal release as well? Don't know. But again, new Sea Spray, a new mini bot, can't go wrong.
Nice.
And then we're into the next of the Wreckers versus the Mayhem Attack Squad. And the one that really piqued my interest was Iron Fist versus Carnavac, with Carnavac being a remold of. I can't remember his name. Oh my God, I'm terrible for names tonight.
We're not doing very well, really. The source is supposed to be a
No,
short video.
no. Anyway, so he's a repaid. The other one more last one to kind of cover then is the and I've seen images of this, and this really excites me. Is the PulseCon exclusive Hearts of Steel 2 pack
Mm,
with Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I've got the third party versions of both kind of ones, but to own an official one, I love the Hearts of Steel storyline. Thought the toys or the character molds looked absolutely fantastic, and I always thought these would be great as toys. So I'm really looking forward to those. Then I know you'll be trying to pick that bad boy up because it's
yeah,
Optimus
yeah,
Prime.
yeah,
Um,
obviously. And an MPG Defensor.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that rumor. Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see what that comes with that because that will be a challenge for its scale. Like that will be where the scale question really comes in. Are they going to scale the train bots were scaled for their alt mode? Back to our conversation of
Mm.
what was the focus? The focus for the train bots were alt mode for the trains, which in a combiner is a bit crazy, but that was what the focus was. It went for the is it the O gauge? I'm terrible for train gauges. My dad
Definitely,
could tell me,
yeah.
but it went for a specific train um, gauge rather than going for a version of the robot or the combined mode being the right skill. So it went for the skill of the alt mode. So I do think an MPG Defensor will just be masterpiece scale because that's what the rest of the MPG line is. It's all masterpiece scale, so I don't see it being any different. But it'll be really interesting to see how that looks. What
Hmm.
size does it come in at? How does it combine? How does it work? I think you can see in the Hasbro combiners, there's little bits of learns from third party. Third party have went on some journey with masterpiece combiners, and they have got better and better and better. But if you look back to their first ones, they weren't great. There've been I've heard things similar about the train bots. Will they learn enough that the MPG Defensor will be good? We will
Wait and
find
see.
out, I guess.
Yeah,
And I guess
yeah.
it's not one you'll be interested in picking up.
No, I probably won't be, but thinking, I don't know. I'm gonna disagree with you on scale. I reckon it'll be smaller.
I think so.
I reckon it'll be smaller. Not massively smaller, maybe more like almost chug scale perhaps, but masterpiece design. But that's just my guess rather than anything based on any kind of facts.
Look forward to seeing who's right, me. Um, okay, now possibilities. This a bit excited me because, as I said, throughout the year there were so many points where I was like, "Oh my goodness! Like, what is the potential for the future now based on this?" And the two big moments for me that gave me that feeling of we are 40 years in this franchise and we are now getting excited about the future. Not we're now getting we're often excited about the future, but we're excited about what the possibilities of the future were. So there's two moments for me where um, Evan Peters, couldn't remember his second name there. Evan Peters did the Triple Takeover podcast, and he revealed that the trailer for the Retro Prime had to be rebuilt because the mold. I wouldn't say the mold's been lost. Mold had just probably been used so many times that it needed to be rebuilt, and that they were not opposed to the idea of rebuilding molds because actually they've kind of got to the end of the molds that they have. Which, if you look at the last few years of Walmart releasing stuff, you kind of can see Insecticons, Blaster, Soundwave, Prime. You can get Hot Rod. You can kind of see that they've worked through their way through those, the Seekers. So it now is like, oh, that's really exciting, and that they're up for it because, as they said, they know that that's a mold that they can make and they can reissue every 4 years. Whereas some of the molds they'll make for new toys, it's a one and done. Obviously, we know they do remolds and they do recolors and stuff, but it's not a we're going to be able to pump this out every 4 or 5 years with the G1 stuff. They could do that, so it just makes that really, really exciting that Hasbro are thinking like that, which they're a powerhouse when it comes to this stuff. So what does that lead to? So with that in mind, what's the top three G1 toys you would love to see them redo? In
Um,
G1 style, because we're about to talk about something else.
uh,
I
this
can.
this is quite easy. The Datsuns.
Yes.
I need me a new blue streak. Um,
And
sticking
do you want them to do a proper like Blue Streak, Silver Streak, that kind of bit? Do you want me to go down that
Well, they
that
will.
they
Um,
should?
I'd want a G1 style blue streak in the original colors that it never was. The
The
not silver
blue
streak.
streak?
No, not blue. The grey
Or
and black.
oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'd love. That would be really sweet. What else? Uh, ooh, that's a tough one. Jazz probably. Decepticons, Shockwave maybe.
But
But I
Shockwave won't
think
come.
no,
That's a
because
license issue.
he's yeah
You just pick the most difficult one, why don't you,
yeah.
Simon?
Sorry. Um, but most of the other good ones have already been done to death a million times. So who do you pick?
I would probably go. I think I would go the same as you, but I want smokescreen. Because I always loved my big cousin had smokescreen, and it just was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I'd love a smokescreen. Um, I think Sunstreaker. Now I know we're about to talk missing link, so
Yeah, that's why
but
I
I
didn't
still think there's
say
something for saying having the original. Like I
it.
actually now kind of I'm now getting into that. I kind of if I'm getting a missing link, I kind of want the original version as well. So why not go with the original? I actually think. mainly, however, I would probably want to go to the like headmasters and stuff, the stuff that I just never had any hookups of. I'd love to get a proper couple of headmasters or target masters, that kind of into
Yeah.
that later era stuff. But I don't think they will. I think they'll focus on the first 3 years probably.
Um, might be quite nice to get an old school combiner, like a Superion or a
Yeah.
Bruticus. Bruticus would be nice. Oh
Okay.
no,
So
Bruticus has
they
been done to death. Sorry.
yes.
Carry on.
If I want British, I want Ruination, but as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm okay with that. So then we go to Missing Link, and Missing Link kind of does that and goes, by the way, where Optimus Prime was the absolute perfect choice to go for your first Missing Link toy.
Obviously.
And the 40th anniversary, your two key characters are Optimus and Megatron. Optimus as a truck is far more iconic than Megatron as a gun now because he's not a gun anymore. So Optimus Prime G1 is the most iconic Transformer toy of all time. It can't not be anything else as the first Missing Link, and they hit that bad boy right out of the park. Then it was like, I was really shocked when they did Minibots. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. But that's kind of cool. I wasn't massively excited, I have to say. Having get them in hand, they're absolutely fabulous. They're really impressed. Then they went, well, let's go with, and they didn't surprise me. We've seen them as keychains and things, so they're not hard to get molds. And then they went, let's do Sunstreaker. And that was like, whoa, whoa, well, you're doing Sunstreaker. So that grey model they put up of the Sunstreaker Missing Link, I was like, I am so excited because now it goes back to the nothing's off the table, and we're about to talk about what else they showed that day, which
Mm.
really did that. But it was like, okay, give me Grimlock. Like I've got my Grimlock. I want a Grimlock. I want a Grimlock. And that's the challenge. Like I don't think they're going to get the two. I don't think they're going to do a G1 retro Sunstreaker if they've done a Missing Link. You might get a retro Missing Link Sunstreaker to kind of go in that way, but I don't think you're going to get a. I don't think they would invest the money in that. I think it's almost a right. What characters are we going to do? One goes this way, one goes this way. Like I think that's what it'll be. But it did have me going. I would love a Grimlock. I would love. I think Ultra Magnus would be really interesting to
Yeah, I was going to take
see.
that.
The combiners would be kind of interesting to see. Imagine a Devastator Missing Link. Oh, it just is like, whoa. So that's cool because they're rebuilding molds. Because it's not as if they're taking an old mold. They're having to rebuild the mold anyway. Like G1 Optimus Prime, sorry, Missing Link Optimus Prime shares so much with G1, but it's also new in so much as well. So Sunstreaker is a great way to go. Well, we have to rebuild the mold anyway. Why not build a mold that everybody's crying out for? But the more important, more interesting and intriguing part in that reveal that day, they revealed that they are working on a G1 RC based on the unreleased prototype. And that very much suddenly was like all preconceptions you have of what the possibility of Transformers G1 has going forwards is out the window. Is anything off the table now?
No, I think it's all there. There's yeah, completely anything. So we could potentially get that Unicron that we'll get so giddy about. But I'm
Like that, I have never felt excitement in a reveal the way I did when it went, oh my God, we make a G1 Unicron? And it's probably shit. Like,
oh
that's
yeah,
weird.
it's shocking that it'll probably cost about 400 quid,
Just
if not
mind
more.
blowing. Well, yeah, mind
Um,
blowing.
but I would I'm willing to put money on that RC is a really early reveal, and she won't come
Yeah,
out until 2026
next
for
year.
the
She'll come out next, and that's
the
it. That's next year.
no,
Just,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's a
for
movie
the
toy.
movie. So
That's a clever move. Like, where the 40th anniversary first Missing Link was Prime and it was perfect.
mhm.
40th movie anniversary Missing Link first one being RC would be like that. How many people's G1 collections would be like, I need this. It's just very clever.
But if you think about it as well, the movie toys that came out originally, so your Hot Rod, your Ultra
Yeah.
Magnus, your Galvatron, they're
Yeah.
all ripe for missing link, like
Oh yeah.
absolutely ripe because they were such
Yeah.
static figures in the old ones. So having a Hot Rod with knees, um,
Yeah.
or an Ultra Magnus that wasn't just a shoebox with arms.
Yeah.
Um,
So we
Galvatron
could,
was actually pretty cool anyway, so
yeah. And Galvatron's had an anime style coloured version before, hasn't it?
and a
Takara
toy car,
Tomy
yeah,
did that.
yeah,
So I would be curious to see, another thing we've not talked about is forgetting just G1 molds, the retro line continuing. I expect the retro line will properly continue. That the 2026, 2025 is going to be awesome. I'm confident of 2025 being awesome. 2026 being the movie anniversary is just like, oh, what are we got? It's a fantastic position to be in. Like, it's so exciting. When I got to Missing Link, I got to Sunstreaker is just so exciting. And then Cordon, like, the fact they're doing that as well is really cool. Like, it just takes that line. I've said it already. That's the line that I'm most excited about going forward. It's a line I'm definitely all in on, and I cannot wait to see what they do. I want a G1 Grimlock. I want a Soundwave Missing Link.
yeah.
Christ, I would wet myself. I still hope beyond hope to Cara do Megatron because they've not been opposed to doing Gun Megatron. They've done Masterpiece Megatron, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. But it's just not. Why would you not have done that as a second missing link? If you were going to do it, why would you not have? That's the only bit that makes me think I don't think we will get it. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And there's so many. Go back to even just that aspect of molds that we've not seen. We've seen Takara did do. Uh, we've had Ultra Magnus reissued. We've had Galvatron. We could get them as proper retro reissues without having to build new molds. So there are still
Oh
other
yeah, yeah.
retro reissues we can get without the new molds. But suddenly we're in a really interesting position where there's lots of toys that this time last year we would not have had the same feeling of anything's on the table, and now it's like there is, and that's cool. That's a good place to be in, and as we move into the next part of the franchise. Um, and then my last comment is just putting out an ether because I'm hoping it's true. Is Soundwave is Roboson. Like I have not had any interest in paying for the money for the Roboson. I would change my mind very quickly if they went, we are bringing out a Soundwave. Even more so if we're bringing out a Soundwave and it's a Bluetooth speaker at the same time.
I mean,
Because why would you not do that?
yeah. How could it not be? How can it not be? How at the very least they should be able to incorporate the technology they've got for the base, the AI Bluetooth speaker base for Prime. Surely they could stick that into a sound wave.
I mean, you see itty bitty speakers done. Um, so yeah, no, I, it's almost like a who else would you do other than Soundwave? Like, who's the next obvious choice? Like, you've done Grimlock, you've done Optimus Prime, you've done Megatron. Surely Soundwave's the next big obvious choice. So it's been a while since Megatron came out now, really. Can that be a TFN pickup? Will that be a TFN pickup? Will you and Paddy and Andy Bain getting left at the stall as Greg and I fight over getting Soundwave Robertson and then just sit behind the stall playing with it?
After recent events, I'm gonna make sure that I get one before you.
That's mean. So if anybody would like to work behind our stall at TFN, put your applications into Simon as a backstabber at I mean, I have been winding you up because I'm sitting doing like this
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
sitting
We
like
can
going
tell
to
by the
the
way that we're recording the video and you're really distracted and just sort of
oh
going
so good.
quiet and just seeing this. Sort
So
of.
I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed 2024. I thoroughly enjoyed the 40th anniversary. So many highlights, so many personal highlights as well. And
Yeah,
we've got videos that are coming out, shorts that will kind of talk through these kind of different bits as well.
yeah.
On a personal level, I'm incredibly excited about 2025. I think 2024 for primetime toys, for primetime Moff, for primetime TV was incredibly exciting. You ain't seen nothing yet because 2025 is going to blow you out the water. We have got some big reveals coming in regards to TF UK Con. We have got some prime reveals hopefully happening for TFN very shortly. We will be at TFN Mini and we are going to be having an absolute ball. Please make sure you keep your eyes and ears open to everything that's happening. We've got some exciting stuff for the channel. Um, I'm buzzing for 2025. Simon, any last thoughts for you before we kind of close off?
No, you pretty much covered it. This year, I'm really. Last year was amazing. There were so many exciting things, and this year's just shaping up to be even better. And we're only a week and a bit into 2025, and I've already got plans coming up to go and do some fun Transformers related stuff, as you
No,
well
just in
know.
a matter of
I know
weeks. In a matter of weeks.
that wasn't
Can't
something I
reveal
was
what that is
intending to
yet, but
happen. No, it's secret,
yeah,
secret.
yeah.
But that's going to be fun, especially if I actually manage to get the 2 days off work. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, and I am willing to bet it's going to involve blockies.
Everything involves blockies. Everything involves blockies.
Except that pink
Blockies are.
Optimus Prime.
I know that is that. But and another that's another aspect. We've talked about all these things. What thing is going to surprise us this year that we have that's not even on our radar, and that is the most exciting part of this franchise is that you can plan, you can start to get excited for things, and something's going to come up, and we're all going to be like, "What? What?" And it'll be like one of those memes. And we, as a channel, are going to do our best to get better at responding to these things, being available, being quick and responsive to news, maybe doing lives when things go up. Depends how we get on. But we are very much wanting to be more adaptable to it because we stupidly didn't predict that we would have to do that to an extent last year, and that
Yeah,
really made us be behind on so many points. So this year we're going to be a lot more adaptable and not going to be so stringent on. Let's try and do 40 episodes before the end of the year and only have three where we don't do one episode and it just fell to pieces. So I am very much looking forward to it in so many ways.
yes, completely agree. It's just going to be fun, and yeah, the stuff we've got planned for the channel and the stuff that we haven't even spoken about yet that I've got in my head. It's going to be amazing. So please do keep watching and listening and subscribing if you've managed to get this far in this video that is about 3 times longer than we
Yeah, never
intended it
thought.
to be. I might need to edit this down a bit.
Nah, you're fine. So anyway, we're going to finish off. Thank you for watching. Remember, we do these videos each week as a new kind of way for us to enjoy the hobby. The only thing we're asking from you is if you enjoyed the content, could you take a moment to subscribe to our channel? It helps us grow, give us feedback, like, comment, all these things help us. This has been the final part of what turned out to be a two-part finale episode of what has been our first regular season PTTV, which was Transformers 84 to 24, 40 years of rolling out. A show that in the year of the brand's 40th anniversary, we have looked back, delved through the vast history of the Transformers, finishing up with an excitement for the future. Now, the rest of this month, before we kind of refresh and reboot in February, we're going to just focus on finishing on reflecting on 40 years. So we're going to have an episode where we'll chat about the cartoons and the media, and then we'll have an episode where we talk purely about the toys and just what have we enjoyed, what have we liked about the 40 years. So they'll be kind of fun just to finish off, and then there'll be wonderful new content kicking off in February, as Simon kind of alluded to, and we're really looking forward to going on that journey with you. So thank you all once again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.